Whoa, I need to fix that, huh? Welcome, guys. Obviously, I don't have anything on my screen. Let's fix that real quick. Dogs are gonna hate me. Oh, a little better. Let's see if we can adjust this a little bit. Pull this down a little bit. Boom. Can we move it up a little bit? Oh, perfect. What's up, guys? So today we're going to go over my current situation with CMEG, and let's just get to it. All right, now that all the fiddling with this is done, I can minimize over here. Let me refresh up here. Can't see my refresh button. I have a sticky note in the way. Let's open up CMEG. Alrighty. What's up, Jonathan? How are you doing? Sorry, you probably said hi already, but my chat for some reason has been being a little bit weird. So, as you guys can see, my realized gains today were negative $630.50 on 400 shares, one ticket, and it was a cover on KPTI. And if we want to bring the chart up real quick, we'll scroll out, and it was pretty much at the top of its move from this morning. So I'm just going to walk you guys through this, and we're going to hope that everything gets taken care of. But as of right now, we are in the middle of dealing with the situation, but we are not losing hope, and we are told that we're going to have an answer by Tuesday, no later than Tuesday. So again, we're going to stay positive. All I'm doing here is I'm just going to explain to you guys what happened. So we're going to zoom in on the actual move. So earlier in this day, before KPTI even happened, I was probably not even looking at KPTI because this was straight off the scanner. Got to head out, unfortunately, but put this towards yours. Yes, I actually plan on talking about Circuit just a little bit because, it's a new project and I don't want to mess anything up, and I want to make sure that it's represented very well. Actually, was going to ask Jonathan to be on the channel here very shortly to maybe co-host one of these Friday night streams and really dive into what Circuit is. If nobody knows what it is, it's a new coin coming out in the crypto world, and we're definitely on the right side of it. We have one of the co-creators in Jonathan here, and it's a great project, and that's what we're going to be talking about. But that's in the near future. But yes, that will definitely go towards my Circuit fund. So KPTI, and no beer today, not feeling well, so just water, trying to feel better. You can probably hear it in my voice. Thomas, top of the day, top of the night, top of the morning. I know it's top of the night to you as well. Well, sort of, 8:40. Anyways, so KPTI comes up right off the scanners, and just so you guys don't think I'm pulling it, I know in my earlier video, I had
that I got constant with it when I was out of my
I forget. Oh, that was watching Pedro Martinez talk about throwing a splitter. I actually did have KPTI up because I remember it was on the gap list, but I don't think I had traded it. Yeah, here we go. I just want to make sure I get my orders right. So let's scroll back. This is that really long halt. So look at this thing going nuts on the scanner. It gets halted, the 5-minute halt. Let's scroll forward. Dun, 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 dun. Here we go. All right. So I actually never showed this because I was still dealing with the situation, but here's the actual live trade. We come out of the halt, we get the 750 pop, and we look to start our position. And we're just kind of trying to feel the top here. We see everything kind of slowing down and we jump in. We get a little bit of a bad fill there at 761. As you saw, it jumped down like 10 cents all at once. I only took 100 shares there, and we were looking for this thing to really kind of come all the way back down towards 7 and under 7, but she decides to keep going. So we'll fast forward a little bit, and we get the 8 pop. So we get that $8 pop, and now we're just kind of feeling it again, looking to add our 100 shares. And I believe we get like right over 8 on this. It's like 806. So we get 806, and she decides to keep going. There it was right there. So we get the 850 pop, and you know me, half dollar, whole dollar, half dollar. And so we look to add here. We're looking to get our smash of 200 shares. She's still going, looking for the top. And boom, right there, we felt the top. We actually got a really good fill there, 862. And then she drops all the way right down to 820s. And so that was pretty good. Our average was at 822. She pretty much dropped right down to our average. Again, we're still looking for down here towards VWAP. We're in 400 shares. Everything's looking pretty good, right? Well, this thing was a beast. She decided to hang out up here. Didn't really take off any risk. Probably should have. And this is kind of where I broke my rule just a tad. When she consolidated like this, when she went high a day, I should have cut. But I was, I felt okay in this one. Like I felt like it was really, struggling here. But I let it start here. I let it form this candle where it really tried to go high a day. And I told myself in the moment that was my new plan. So when it came right back up to it, I decided to, add to it using my risk off right there at high a day. And I took 400 shares there to double it up again to get my average up there to 870 because we were over that $9 pop as well. And sure enough, she comes back down right to 9, and we took those shares off immediately just to reduce our risk. And we'll fast forward here, and this thing really started to look like it was about to flush right into our favor. We had an 870 average. We were looking for this thing to come back down towards VWAP, if not under VWAP, and that's when it gets halted for the whole FDA approval nonsense. And as you see, that was at 1110. So fast forward to 135 when it opens, and as you can see, she starts to go down. So I had multiple orders. I was trying to get in and out like right at 8, and then she starts coming down here, and at this point I'm on the phone with CMEG saying, hey, I can't get out of my position. Now let me pause for a sec. Now, this is actually after Wednesday morning, I called and I asked them, what are your trading hours today? It was a half day. I knew the market closed at 1. They told me that their trading hours were until 2 o'clock. Okay, cool. Probably won't matter to me. I never really trade in the afternoon. I was just curious. Okay, fast forward, we're in this halt and it's coming up to close, the close. And I'm like, holy crap. In my head, FDA approval got leaked. This thing's going to open at 12 in the after hours, like, because at that point, it was getting close to 1 o'clock. I was pretty worried, not going to lie. 400 shares, if it opens up at 12, that's a good amount of money. So I call back. It was like 1:20, and I say, hey, I just want to know what your trading hours are today. 2 o'clock. Okay. Now that I have you on the phone, can you please explain to me which route I have to use to trade in the after hours? And we kind of go back and forth, and she's telling me EXT, and I was telling her that I don't have EXT, which if I minimize real quick, because the first thing I did, obviously on my 3 screen, I pulled this down. And because I know when I was with Interactive Brokers, you had to mess with these, the GTC and Day Plus and whatnot, and the EXT when you wanted to trade pre-market or after hours. So she had said, look for EXT. And I was like, well, I'm on DOS. I don't see EXT. And she was like, oh, you're on DOS. And she was like, try GTC. And I was like, okay, well, if I use GTC, it should fill my order, even though when I was putting in orders, it was saying on hold and not accepted. And she said, yes. So I get an email like right after I had mentioned that. Yes, I do. But Zlisk, I have all of it, and I have proof of everything that I'm saying. But like I said, I don't want to get into. I'm staying positive. So hopefully it doesn't have to go any further than it is now. But yeah, I get an email right away saying no, it's not GTC, and this is at 1:30. Use the day plus. Well, in my video, I mean, as you can see, this is part of the video, but yes, the video has sound when I made the phone calls. But again, I'm not looking to get into that in this video because I'm trying to stay positive. But anyways, as you can see, as this goes on, I actually am trying, and I try to place orders as it's making this last candle. Well, as you can see, this one got accepted. But as you can also see, I think I might have to go back a little bit. Yeah. So as she makes this big drop, like as you can see, I'm trying, like when I put an order in at GTC, look what happens. It comes up and says hold. Because at this point I was just trying to get out of the position in any shape or any way, any way that I could, because I felt like something was wrong. And when something's wrong, especially if you're in the green, just get out and be done with it. But it wasn't accepting any of my orders. So if we fast forward, obviously, and look, I canceled those orders. It was allowing me to cancel those. So I'm on the phone, and I had mentioned, hey, can you close the position for me? Because it's not letting me. And she said, okay, give me a minute. And she put me on hold, and then this is what happens. Right there. So I tried to hit cover position, and I actually hit it twice. If I go back frame by frame, and it looks like on one of them, for some reason, it got accepted. But I'm assuming at the same time on their end, because if I bring the order box down later, but I can't cancel this order. And the reason I know that it's not my order is because every other order that I put in, I could cancel. And you see me hitting the X, and all it does is highlight it. It doesn't actually let me cancel out of it because it says accepted. The price goes down below. The ask was at 750 after the order was accepted, so it should have got filled. And as you can see, look, it was even happening again right there, 54, 53, 52. So it should have got filled. It says it was accepted, 755, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's fast forward just a little bit. Now, right here, watch my mouse. It goes off screen, and then an order comes in at 8:20. So I was nowhere even near my montage. So again, and I try to cancel that one. So these are orders that they put in, trying to cancel. And again, I'm just chilling on hold as they're putting these orders in, trying to get me out of this position. And needless to say, I mean, there's really nothing after that. They come back and say, market was closed at 1. For some reason, it's not letting us put our orders through. We're going to put a ticket in to resolve the issue. So that's what happened here. So let's fast forward to today. So that happened, and look at that literally was the bottom. She starts climbing from there, climbing. And at this point, I wasn't touching. I woke up right around here at 7 o'clock, and I saw that it was in this area. I saw that it went up here, and I was like, kind of freaking out because I saw that I was still in the position, and I'm like, why am I still in this position? So I give them a call at 8. It was like 8:05. And I was literally just waiting for anyone to answer the phone, and no one answered the phone all the way until 9 o'clock. So I'm assuming that their office hours start at 9. I actually left a message at 9:02 and then called right back, and somebody picked right up. So I don't know why my call from 8:05 didn't get picked up, but I would assume that it was just blinking saying, hey, pick me up, but nobody picked it up. So left a message, called back, got someone to pick right up. It actually turned out to be the same lady that I had talked to from Wednesday. She comes on the phone, and, I explained to her my situation. Hey, I believe I had talked to you Wednesday. I'm still in this position. Can we figure out what's going on? Okay. Puts me on hold, comes back, tries to explain the situation, and asks me if I want to close the position. And I say, if you're going to close the position at the price that you tried to close it on Wednesday, then go right ahead. And she said, okay. She puts me on hold. And next thing I know, it was about, I was probably on, well, this part, right when she put me on hold, it was like maybe a minute later, she closed the position. And I'm like, okay. She closed the position for me, which I can actually just go ahead and show you guys. I started recording pretty early because I knew what was happening at this point. Just wanted to, guard myself. And right here. So as you can see, again, you'll see the cover order come in. I'm nowhere near the montage. I don't even think my mouse is on this screen. Oh, yeah, it is. It's over here. And 1028. I know it's like right here somewhere. Oh, where'd my mouse go? I just don't want it to be anywhere near there. I know it's not. I think I was talking to the guys in ISW at this time, so my mouse is probably up on that screen. Okay, there you go. So it was covered. But as you can see, my mouse was obviously not even on the screen. So I get covered. Well, she comes back. I want to say it's probably like 10, 15 minutes later, and she tells me, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to open up a ticket, and we're going to just go from there. And I pretty much repeat myself. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 times saying, okay, I would like this in writing if you don't mind. Can I get an email? Yeah, that's no problem. And I one last time, I try to spell it out as much as I can. I say, okay, so I just want to verify that the position was, I can see it on my screen. It was closed at $10.28. And it was closed by you, and I just want to make sure that it's going to be corrected to the price that you tried on Wednesday, which was at $7.55. And she says the magic words of, yes, we will correct that for you. Okay, I'm set. That's all I needed to hear. And that was that. Well, again, staying positive. However, I received an email at 2:58 today, which was now 6 hours ago, stating, "Hi, Tim. As you know, we recommended you try the appropriate route for extended hours trading as markets were closing earlier that day. However, Wednesday did not follow the usual pattern of trading due to the early close, and trading was completely cut off at 1 p.m. Eastern. This was why you were unable to exit your position as the KPTI was halted and trading only resumed after market close. By this time, markets were not accepting new orders, and you were required to hold the position overnight. There was nothing we could have done differently, as this was out of our control. Please contact us if you need assistance with anything else." Yes, Zelisk, but basically I was actually out with my family at a Planasium at the mall. My 2 boys were having fun, and I told my wife about the email because she was there too, and I told her I had to walk outside and make a phone call. So I walked outside and I made the phone call to CMEG, and I ended up talking to the same lady. She was the one that answered the phone, and I tried to explain why. First off, I tried to explain why it didn't matter that the stock had got halted. I tried to explain to her, okay, say on any other stock, I don't know what other stock had moved. Well, let's just say for this sake, but say this is, well, that's not going to work. 4 o'clock is the normal closing time. So say we made a trade and we were told earlier in that day that we could trade until 5 o'clock. What if we made a trade at 3:59 in the afternoon, assuming that we could trade for another hour and a minute? Regardless of whether the stock was halted or not, I was told I could trade for that next hour. So it doesn't matter if the stock was halted or not. The fact of the matter is the stock unhalted before the 2 o'clock time that you told me that I could trade. So if the stock was halted past 2 o'clock, this isn't even a question. I own up to it. I understand that's my mistake. But to tell me that I don't know why I haven't, but to tell me that I can trade till 2 o'clock on 2 separate occasions, and the second time to even help me, to show me how to trade in the after hours for today. As I explained, she was trying to show me which route to use. Clearly states that you all thought that I could trade until 2 o'clock. And whether it was just her or not, it doesn't matter. I was informed, and that was not the case. So now we are here because I got that email basically saying, oh, well. But now it puts it on a whole nother level, because at this point I'm like, well, she just closed my position. And I was under the impression that the only reason she closed the position was that we agreed verbally, on the phone, which it was recorded, supposedly on their end. So they can go back, because that's what they told me. They're going to go back and listen to the phone calls to make sure that what I'm saying checks out. And she closed the position with the verbal agreement that it was going to be for the price that she tried on Wednesday. And whether that's 755 or 820, one of those needs to be filled, right? You would think. Because in this case, she pretty much top ticked this thing. But the only reason she closed the position in the first place was because we had that agreement. She asked if I wanted to close the position. I said yes. And there we go. Yeah, Z-List. The halt ended at 1:35. Pretty much everyone in the ISW room knows, because we were pretty much all in the trade. And I was the only one in the trade on CMEG, and I was the only one unable to get out of the trade. So that is currently where we stand. To not dive into, too far, but again, trying to stay positive. I was told I'll have an answer by Tuesday. I provided everything that I was asked to provide them in hope to bring light to what was really said and what really happened. And I believe that they already know. They just wanted to make sure that I knew in a sense. So again, I don't like to mess around when it's money on the line, especially this much, because when you do the math, it's if for some reason they tried to, leave it at this, it's a $1,092 swing from this cover to the 755 cover. That's a big difference. And not only is it just the dollar amount, but it goes from a decent green trade to a really bad red trade. And that just doesn't sit well with me in how it happened. But like I said, staying positive. Hopefully there doesn't have to be another video on this except for a positive one talking about how CMEG is awesome and how they fixed this and how their customer service is awesome. And that'll be all there is to it, right? So that's what I'm shooting for. That's what we're hoping for. And that's what we're going to, Double D, I see you. You always make me happy. But yes, it is a little bit crazy. Unfortunate that I have to go through this. It actually kept me from even wanting to trade today. I didn't even think about trading today. Although there was one trade today. What was it? Oh man, it was like ORSC. Nope. ORCS. Nope. I can't even bring up ISW again because it wouldn't be there. Oh, it might be. Let me see. Real quick, just for the sake of it. Izzy Lisk, it hasn't been horrible so far. Unfortunately, I think this was just a bad situation that they got put into. I really do think that it was ORBC. I was close. I think it was a situation that they hadn't been put in before, because they honestly, I believe, thought that they would have, because our normal trading hours are until 5 o'clock. So they have that hour from the market that they give them. So I think that they really assumed that it was from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And the fact that they couldn't get me out of my position, I think really confused them. And they just didn't know how to handle it. So I think we're just kind of stuck in a weird place. And unfortunately, I'm the guinea pig. So hopefully they make right by it and we can just move forward. But, that's where I stand right now, and it is what it is. So I was actually taking a nap during this trade. I heard the scanner going off, and I couldn't play it because I just didn't want to get out of off the couch because I felt like crap earlier today. But boy, this thing, it gave the alert at, I can actually bring it up. This was later, 785. I believe the first one it gave, maybe it was that one. I thought it was at $8. Oh, that's the last. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the alert was at 802. So the alert was off the scanner at 802. And the scanner likes to give it to you, just before it's about to make its reversal. And boy, was this thing right on this one. Look at the nice move it made. Gives you an alert right there, 802. She jumps up to almost 850, gets denied, and then she comes all the way back down under 8. This would have been beautiful. Like I said, even if you started at 8, you look for this quick squeeze up towards 850. And even if you only got like 830, your average is up here at 815. And she just steadily came down the rest of the day. If you're waiting for VWAP, which was at like 795, it's still a good 20 cents. But yeah, that would have been a nice trade. But yeah, that's really all I had tonight. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the 300 sub giveaway. I know I mentioned in my video, if you saw it earlier today, that it wasn't going to include the team package. I talked to Brian, the owner of ISW, and he said, "You're silly. Let them come in, experience the team for a week, really let them know what we're all about." And so this 300 sub giveaway is also going to be the team package of ISW for a week. So if you guys are interested in that, I'm going to make a video on the actual giveaway, most likely tomorrow. Again, I'm ready for bed. And that's going to be that. I feel like I was missing one other thing I wanted to mention. Can't remember. Anybody have any questions? Well, Justin, if you want the prize, like I said, I'm going to make the video. I will put it out tomorrow. And all you have to do is just comment. I like to know why you would like to be part of ISW. So that's all I ask is in the comment section. Just create some interaction with me. I like to go back and forth with you guys. If you have any questions about ISW and the scanners, let me know. Always happy to answer those. And yeah, I can't praise ISW enough. It gives you moves like this, gives you moves like KPTI. And again, if it wasn't for, the whole leaked image and all that crap, this trade, look at this thing. These are pretty textbook. This is probably what it was going to look like anyway, before it got halted, because look at it. It was coming down. And honestly, it probably would have been with less of a fight. And to be honest, you probably wouldn't have got all the way down here because there was a lot of people, all them stock twit people that were buying this thing. So it was getting forced down because, it was already in the price, that FDA approval. That's what caused this move in the first place. So people were like, oh, this thing's going to 20 or, whatever. Like if you look at the daily, everyone's like, oh, this thing's going back up here into the 20s. But, it was just, it wasn't really that great of news. It's FDA approval for something that is a very niche product. But yeah, a lot of people were buying this thing, and that's why you have these topping tails like this. And once they realized that it wasn't going to 20, they were like, crap, and that's what got this extra little push, probably under 8. But yeah, KPTI is trash. They're all trash. But yeah, I don't really look into that stuff, but since we were in the halt for this was at 11:06 until 1:35, we had time to kind of do our due diligence a little bit, because we weren't stuck in, obviously, yes, we were stuck in this, but, we were somewhat optimistic. We were going back and forth on, what we thought it was going to do. And we were just, preparing to trade when it came out of the halt. And sure enough, she did what we thought we were going to do. And unfortunately, I just wasn't able to get out of my position. And now here we are. But, yep, that's what they're there for. Stocks are there to make money. So, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll stick around for another... I'll give it 9 minutes. We'll stick here till 10:15 Eastern. And then I'm going to get out of here. As you can tell, I'm really kind of struggling with my throat. My son brought something home from preschool. I'm feeling it because he has the same cough. All right, Justin, thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, just look out for that video tomorrow if you want to register for the giveaway. Yeah, I guess I could bring that up while I'm waiting to see if you guys have any questions. Let's see. You guys want to watch Blippi or Spider-Man? I'm trying to find... There it is. There we go. Yeah, you guys have, how would you have traded the stock if it halt resumed at 12? That's a good question, because that was part of, what was going through my head. When you're stuck in a halt for that long and you start seeing, okay, FDA approved, blah, 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 you have to assume those things. And at that point, I did the math, and, 400 shares at $12 from my current average, that's $1,600. So that would have been a pretty healthy loss. But if it opened at 12, my goal would have been to watch the price action, just like I did here. Even though it opened at 12, doesn't mean it necessarily should have. That could have just been all the hype. Fortunately, it didn't happen. But if it did, I would have been watching. So if it would have been like 12, came down to like 11.50 or something, and then started to go back up over 12, I would have cut. But if it was 12, 11.50, starts kind of consolidating or keeps going down towards 11, then you're going to kind of hold and kind of see what she does. And you're going to look for, obviously you're not looking to get all the way back down here, but you would be looking to manage to trade as best as you could. And if you're a pro, which I am not, because I would have been looking to just take my position up there at the best price I could probably get it at. If you're a pro and it opens up at 12 like that, you're looking to manage the trade up there. You're looking to, kind of scout back and forth to kind of get your average way up there. And then when she eventually... I don't know how to just scroll over slowly in this thing. I've never figured that out. But eventually, if you're kind of scalping up and down, getting your average, like say you go get in and out up there towards 12, your average is up, say, at like 10.50, and then something like today happens and you make a lot of money. So that's what the professionals do when stuff like that happens, when they know that this is garbage. But someone like me with a smaller account, you can't really afford to do that, and you're just kind of looking to get out at the best price, after the halt resumes. So that's how I was looking at it, because that was part of my plan. You always have to have a plan. You can't just be like, oh, I'll just see what it does when it unhalts. Like, you need to be prepared. Like, what if it opens up at 12? And you can ask anybody from T-W. We definitely we're talking about it just in case. Yes, what ifs. I can't express enough that in your strategies, you should have a strategy, you should have a name for your strategy, and you should have every possible what if for that strategy. So if your strategy is to try to short the top, okay, well, what if it comes down but not enough for you to take profit and then goes back up over your entry? What do you do? What if it goes back over the high of day, since your entry wasn't obviously the top? What do you do? What if that happens? What if you get in and she tanks right to your profit target? Do you take it right off? Do you take half? Do you take 75%? Do you take 90%? Do you take any? Do you just let it ride because it's shot down like a tank and you want to see if it'll keep going? You need to have these what ifs, and they have to be split-second decisions all the time. That's why the people that stick around the longest and they've been through everything over and over again, and it's very they have a strategy that works. Repetition is key because you learn all the what ifs of your strategy and you start to see how they all work. This was obviously something I'd never run into before. I've never run into something where I got stuck in a halt, let alone for as long as it did. I've been in halts before, back when I was a breakout trader, to the upside. That's usually a good thing. I've never been stuck in a halt where I was like, oh crap. And this was one of them where I was like, oh crap. But I was very optimistic. I didn't think it was going to drop like this, but I did think it was going to hover around the same area. I didn't think it was going to go to 12. I did think it might go to 10 or 11, but I didn't think it was, I thought a lot of the FDA approval was already priced in based off of the move that it had already made. So getting the move down like it did right out of the halt, that was very fortunate. Would have been nice to actually get out on that. So I'm still very optimistic that that'll be taken care of. But yeah. But yeah, just to close, again, any more questions, feel free. That was a good question, Zelisk. What ifs? They're very important. But yeah, we're at 282. We're coming up on 300 pretty quick. Always appreciate the support, guys. We've been growing pretty quickly. And yeah, I'm sure it caught a lot of people's eyes with the 700 or 400 little thumbnail. I thought that was pretty clever, but it's the truth. Either if for some reason they decide to leave it the way they are, I would be down $700, and that would be pretty messed up. But if they give me the price and do the right thing, I would be up $400, which would be really awesome and right. So, yep, we got 18 subscribers to go, and we'll be at that 300 mark. So tell your friends. And if you guys have any questions about the ISW scanners, feel free to ask those as well. I've been keeping, let me go to my other setup. I've been actually getting some compliments on this as well, which I absolutely love this new setup. If you do notice, one thing is I actually had ditched the time and sales, which I love so much. Level 2 is only there mainly just for the level 1. I only really look at this top line just to make sure that the spread's not crazy. It's just a little bit easier to read than the one up here. But my time and sales now is this pink line. The pink line was always there, but I really started to realize that, reading the time and sales, this pink line, which is just the last price, is no different. If I go back to the video real quick of the actual KPTI trade, I will show you, which is actually way back here. Right? Yeah, okay. But as this thing is moving, excuse me. There we go. Okay. So this is no different than reading the time and sales. Like you see green, 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 green. Like this is 10. Okay, you can see it like starting to halt right there. Green, 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 green. This is no different than just a slew of green coming through. Slew of green, slew of green, slew of green. And then you're probably seeing a bunch of white, some red, white, red, green, white, 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 and then a bunch of red. And as you saw, that's when I got in. No one can predict the big drop like that right away, but that is what it is. So obviously that was a bunch of red coming through all at once, that huge drop down towards 720. And then sure enough, green, 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 green. So to me, I found that you don't really need time and sales. You just need this little line. I mean, honestly, you don't even need this line. You can just read the candles and kind of see time and sales. Time and sales is a very good visual reference, but it's not really needed. And I found that getting my scanners on my main screen, it's a lot easier to jump back and forth. And now I have 3 charts to choose from, which is also really nice. So like if I get a bunch of scanners coming up in the morning, like I had OSS as well that morning, but that wasn't really moving like I wanted it to. So I actually jumped out of that thing. But yeah. That's kind of the new layout, and as you can see, no think or swim, and like level 2's there, but again, I'm not really like looking at it for all the fakeness that it provides. Excuse me. But yeah, I was more so just kind of showing you the new layout with my scanners down here, which is really nice. Let's see. Oops, wrong one. That's not what I meant to hit. Where are you at? Did I move you guys down there? Oh, yeah, because I was going to show you the scanners. Honestly, the reason I removed it was because I didn't really have room for it. Just the way I had this set up, I wanted the charts to be big enough to where I could see them. I needed my montage, obviously, and I wanted the scanners in here. And I just squared it off, and I needed my important stuff up here. I didn't have room for it. And I kind of started to realize that, I would sit there and stare at time and sales, and I just had an aha moment a little bit, talking with Brian, and I just realized I don't need it. And it hasn't changed the way I trade. I'm still trading the same way, and it doesn't feel like I've made any different decisions based off of not having it. So I feel like it's just it's definitely just like everything else. It's a visual reference tool, and some tools you grow out of. And I feel like I may have started to grow out of that one a little bit. So that's all. You never know. I might go back to it. And if you notice, it's still on my default. When I go back to my default setup, like usually later in the day, if I am around, I will go back to this because I'm never looking at 3 stocks at once. Usually the scanner might pop one up here or there, like that ORBC? Like it'll randomly pop one up, and I only need one screen. So my time in sales is still there for that. But honestly, I've found myself now that I deleted off the other ones, I don't even really look at it. So it's just one of them things, I really do love it. I think it's great for beginners, and I still consider myself a beginner, don't get me wrong. But I just think that, you can tend to find a little bit easier way to kind of uncomplicate things. Double D, I use the 2-minute and the daily. I don't use anything else. As you can see on my default, I have the daily and the 2-minute all up on the same screen. If I'm on the other one, I just literally click between the daily and the 2-minute. It'll come up on the 2-minute, and if I'm curious, just looking for levels to draw a couple lines, I'll click the daily, draw my lines, and then go back to the 2-minute, and that's all I use. The reason I use 2-minute instead of 1-minute, if that's a follow-up question, if you go to the 1-minute, it's too busy. Like it's too busy. I used to use the 1-minute. I feel like my emotional decisions on the 1-minute were a little bit too emotional, because you sit here and see the back and forth, and you tend to not see the overall move happening. Whereas if you go to the 2-minute, you see a nice move up and you see a clean move down. Whereas if you go to the 1-minute, you see all this mumbo jumbo in the middle, and it just, some people get faked out in there, and yeah, that's why I use the 2-minute. Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, hopefully they do the right thing. It would be a pretty big hit on me if they didn't, but I have faith. That they're going to do the right thing. Time and sales helps me with reading the order flow. Some stocks have only big orders going through, and others have constant order flow. Helps to determine which stocks will trade more clean for me. No, I totally get that. That's I kind of base that off on the volume bar. As you can see over here, I use this. I believe it's called. Where's the chart area, config area? No, that's not it. Chart area. Maybe it's not chart area. Data config. Nope. No, it's not there. I know it's some weird spot. Oh man, I thought it was in here. Oh, it is this. Okay, so it's show study latest value, but I must not have clicked up there. I must have clicked up top. No, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Interesting. Because it does it down here too. See if this one's clicked. No. I wonder if maybe because I clicked it before and it's just saved that way, but that's weird. I'm pretty sure that's what gives you that. But anyways, as this is happening, that's kind of how, like, if I see big orders run through and stuff like that. But to be honest, again, I'm very much learning that you trade the chart. News, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just trade the chart. It's the chart doesn't lie, the price action doesn't lie. But I get it. Reading the order flow, totally understand where you're coming from with that. But when I was reading the time and sales, when I had the time and sales up all the time, I wasn't even looking at the quantity of, the order. I was more so just looking for green and red. So to me, there was really no difference reading it on the actual time and sales versus just seeing it happen on the chart. So that was kind of where I was coming from with that. Yeah, and again, something that works for you may not work for others. What works for others may not work for you. So it's all about experimenting, especially when you're new, and finding your edge. It's all about finding your edge, an edge that is profitable, an edge that works. If you have an edge and it's not profitable, it's not a good edge. It might be an edge, but it's not a good edge. What level of zoom? Typically, if I'm on the default chart on this one, I'll trade on something that looks just like this. I tend to have it set so it's like this. Like I'll go back as far as it'll let me sometimes, just so I can see like the previous. But then that's usually just to kind of see the previous days and like see if there's any resistance areas and stuff like that. But then I'll scroll in and I like to have the candles to the point where I can see the width of the candles a little bit. So just like this, if you look at most of my videos that I post. But if I'm on the new one, I've actually been tinkering a little bit, because I wasn't sure how I wanted to go about it. But sometimes I'll do the same thing where I'll zoom out as far as I can. That's like the worst thing that they have. They should make a button for that. And then I'll just kind of hit this button twice and it kind of brings me in, but sometimes that's not enough. So when the charts are a little bit smaller, it's harder. So I usually, like I said, I like that little bit of depth. Obviously these aren't great charts because they're just kind of sideways, but yeah, like if I want to go to the daily, I'll just click that and then do this, kind of see where the key areas are if I need to, which obviously this is to me a no buy or no short at this point because look how far extended she is from the VWAP. Obviously it doesn't mean she can't go down further, but she's pretty oversold. And sometimes that keeps you out of trades, like KPTI. This thing shot up through VWAP and it was going right into like the resistance that it had. And this, obviously this isn't a gap, but this was a huge drop down. But, that was something that interested me when I saw it. And that was kind of why we had partaked in this trade anyway. We clicked on the daily, saw it was coming up to this key area here. And that was kind of when we jumped in, and we weren't wrong for the most part, but obviously right now we're very wrong. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Thomas. I'm not sure exactly what you were looking for. I know Brian, he trades he'll have his charts like this, and I don't know. I mean, he's crazy. I feel like I have to see the candles, which obviously it's not a good representation there. But any more questions? I'm here. I gave you an extra 10 minutes already. I'll give you an extra 5. Everyone's kind of dwindling out anyway. I'll make 10:30 to cut off and do a clean hour. Actually, I had a good turnout today. I was actually surprised. Maybe everyone saw the issues in the thumbnail and they were curious. See, people do show up on Friday nights. We just need to come up with some good topics. Good topics slash what's the word I'm looking for? Controversy. Although I'm not trying to create controversy, I'm actually trying to hopefully divert from controversy. We'd very much like this to just go away, be done the right way and go away. But yeah, back to while we're finishing up, I can bring this back up. I was actually taking a look at this yet again. It's interesting at how many people that watch my videos are not subscribed. Like, this is a lot of watch time. It's almost double from people that aren't subscribed. So they're just kind of clicking through, watching the video and not subscribing. Well, I would appreciate it if you guys subscribed. You know, the people that like to get the giveaways at the 100 subscriber mark, the 200, 300, which we'll be doing 400 and 500 as well. And then I haven't decided if we'll do 750 or wait till 1,000. Probably 750 because that's, you know, I'm a giving person. Maybe we'll even do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Who knows? We'll have to wait till we get there. But yeah, need these guys that aren't subscribing to subscribe. I'm not that person that really necessarily cares about it, but I know the more people that help grow the channel, the more that we can kind of always, you know, get the truth out about whatever the topic is currently, because that's all we talk about here on this channel is the truth. So I hope you guys can always appreciate that, because I don't like to sugarcoat things. I don't look to sell you things. I just ask you to hit subscribe just for support. Eventually, when we do hit 1,000, it'll be even better because you guys will be in before that, and you'll know that you were the true supporters before I absolutely just say, screw you all, I'm monetized, I'm making millions on YouTube videos, and I don't need you anymore. So there's always that. Should be the next Ross Cameron. I'll just start selling you my courses. And then I'll start chat room, and I'll get in on KPTI, and then I'll tell you all that I got in, or I'm getting in, so you don't think I'm in already. I'll let you guys pump the stock up. I'll sell into you guys. And oh crap, that's me kind of calling out Ross Cameron. I didn't mean that. I didn't say that. That's not what he does. That's not why he doesn't really ever show his orders anymore. Ross the Godfather. I like to know, you know, I respect the hustle. I mean, he got to where he was hustling. But I think he knows what he's doing at this point, and unfortunately, that's kind of what he stooped to. So, you know, if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. But I want to get to the point where I'm big enough and, you know, respected enough where I can just ask Ross in person, walk up to Ross and say, hey, Ross, I want you to do a real challenge. Because, you know, he's always doing these challenges that he does, small account challenges, blah, blah, blah. I want you to do a real challenge. I want you to trade. It doesn't even have to be a small account challenge. It can be on your normal account. I want you to trade for 1 month and do your recaps, do your vlogging, do whatever. But the one thing you can't have during that 1 month is access to your own chat room. Prove to me that you can put out the same numbers without access to your chat room. That's all I ask. Like, pure no access, no having somebody else in the room with you still spitting out what you're doing. Just like one of us. Like, we show up, we're by ourselves. Sometimes we're with a team, but, you know, we're not necessarily doing what you're doing. Just go ahead, show us, prove it to us. I want to get to the point where I can walk up to him and ask him to do that, and maybe he'll respectfully do it. Who knows? But obviously I'm not there at this point. Obviously not respected enough. I haven't even been around a year. So, and I'm not trying to make any bash videos on him or any other guys that I believe in the YouTube world necessarily aren't doing the trading world any good. Just really sucking newbies in for the quick buck. And that's not what we're here about. We're here to answer questions. You have questions, I will answer them to the best of my knowledge. If I don't know the answer, I will find the answer. And we're here to get better together. But with that said, guys, I can feel myself fading. I am going to get out of here. I absolutely need to just pass out and hopefully not wake up until at least 10 o'clock tomorrow. At that point, I will be getting yanked out of bed by my 3-year-old and being told to put my bathing suit on to get into the pool. I can't wait. Until then, guys, I'll put the video out tomorrow at some point. I haven't made it yet, but I will, about the giveaway. So look forward to that. And after that, I will see you guys. Have a great weekend on Monday. And I probably won't be trading because, well, I might be. We'll see my mindset. But just with all this happening with the KPTI trade, we'll see. I might wait until that just gets settled before I start trading again. But all right, guys, until then, I will talk to you later.